Under the haze of too many drinks, I admitted to him that my spark of attraction had dimmed. The morning after, the truth slammed into me like a relentless storm. If I could turn back the clock and jolt myself into clarity, I wouldn't pause for a second. My name is Emily, 32, married to David, who's 37. We've woven 4 years of life together. And now I'm untangling a tale I desperately wish I could reshape. Let's be honest. This isn't a story with a cozy, uplifting ending like you'd see on screen. There's no magical fix here, just stark, aching reality, and I'm the one who set it all in motion. David is the kind of man women dream of, kind-hearted, dependable, and tirelessly considerate. He runs a small business, pouring his soul into it, yet always finds time for me. He's the sort who remembers exactly how I like my coffee without asking, who stays up late to help with things I didn't even realize I needed. At first, his calm strength, his quiet devotion, completely won me over. But somewhere along the line, my feelings shifted. I started comparing him to the men my friends gushed about. Partners who seemed more striking, more adventurous, more refined. It began as a faint flicker of doubt, fueled by brunch conversations and perfect Instagram couples I couldn't stop scrolling through. I chastised myself for being superficial, reminding myself that love goes beyond looks. Still, the unease settled in, growing heavier by the day. Then came the night that broke everything. It was meant to be a casual evening with friends, drinks, chatter, catching up on life's moments. But I crossed a boundary, downing one cocktail too many, then another, until I was lost in a blur of alcohol, self-doubt, and a creeping resentment. By the time I staggered home, I could barely keep my balance. David, ever the devoted husband, had stayed awake to make sure I got home safely. That should have melted my heart, filled me with warmth. Instead, I locked eyes with him and let loose the harshest words I've ever uttered. I'm not attracted to you anymore. No explanation, no softening, just those 6 cutting words, raw and unfiltered. When I woke the next morning, my head pounded, and a sickening dread churned in my stomach. At first, my memory was foggy, but then I saw David at the edge of our bed, his eyes fixed on the floor, his face carved with a pain that felt like betrayal. His voice was quiet but weighted when he finally spoke. Is that really what you think of me? My mind raced, still muddled from the night before. Then he repeated my words back to me, and the full force of what I'd done hit me like a crumbling wall. Panic surged. I tried to dismiss it, blaming the liquor. David, I was completely drunk. You know I didn't mean it. But he didn't argue or raise his voice. He just gave a small nod, stood and walked out of the room. In that moment, I felt something essential between us crack, something I worried could never be mended. In the days that followed, David wasn't cruel or spiteful. He was just distant. The little gestures that once defined our connection slipped away. No more midday messages saying he loved me. No more staying up to check if I was home safe. The absence of those quiet acts of care stung worse than any fight. Desperate to fix things, I tried everything. I attempted to cook his favorite meals, even though I'm hopeless in the kitchen. I tucked heartfelt notes into his briefcase, like I did when our love was fresh. One night, I even tried to rekindle our closeness, hoping it might bridge the gap between us. But each time, he met me with a tired, pained look, as if words were caught in his throat. Not tonight, Emily, he'd say gently. Maybe another time. That should have been my cue to face the damage I'd caused. Instead, I ran from it. One Friday night, the silence in our home felt suffocating. David had barely spoken to me all week, and when he did, every word seemed to drain him. Guilt and loneliness pressed down on me, overwhelming. So instead of confronting it, I went out again, telling myself I just needed a moment to breathe, swearing I wouldn't overdo it this time. But deep down, I was seeking an escape. That's when I met him, a man with effortless charisma, bold and captivating, everything David wasn't. He slid next to me at the bar and said, "Tough day, huh?" I should have walked away right then. Instead, I let him pull me in, let his attention make me feel noticed, wanted. I let him flirt, and then, in a moment of weakness, I let him kiss me. The second our lips touched, sickness washed over me, as if I'd plunged into a void with no way out. Then I turned and saw David in his car, watching. My heart stopped. He didn't get out or yell. He didn't even react. He just raised his window and drove off. That was the moment I knew I'd lost him forever. The next morning, I clung to a faint hope that he'd come back, that we could salvage something. But when I walked into the kitchen, David was there, his expression steady but firm. "Last night, you made it clear you don't value me or our marriage," he said. I begged, tears falling, insisting the kiss meant nothing. He shook his head, unmoved. "I need time to sort things out." Then he packed a bag and left. He never came back. 7 months have passed. David is flourishing, dating someone new, someone vibrant, someone who makes him smile. Meanwhile, I'm alone. Even my closest friends have drifted away, their silence a quiet judgment. When my mother heard what happened, she looked at me with disappointment and said, "Emily, you had a man most would treasure, and you threw it all away." She was right. There's no redemption story for me, no neat conclusion. I carry the weight of regret, a constant reminder of what I ruined. If you're reading this, hold on to what matters most. Because once it's gone, it may never come back. Goodbye.